Hello, gamers. How's it going? It's been a while. So just a little bit of an update. On what's been going on in Coach Havok's life. Man, I look really washed out today on camera, but I did my best to fix it. It just looks really warm for some reason. So probably just white balance thing, but who cares? I am just ready to be back. So, anyways, okay. Sorry, back on track. Um, Yeah, so I've been having computer issues. It's always fun when that happens. So I had taken I'm not really entirely sure what happened, if I'm being totally honest. And for reference, I have experience repairing arcade games, consoles. I mean, obviously PCs by extension. Building PCs, cleaning PCs, all sorts. And it's not just like a small amount of experience. I've been doing it for a while. So when I tell you I don't know what happened, it's like who knows? But basically, I took apart my computer for maintenance. I cleaned it out, dusted it out, just standard procedure stuff, right? You blow out the parts, make sure that your fins and the fan are clean and stuff like that, and don't use the air compressor on the fan without holding it in place and let the fan overspin and break the bearings and stuff like that. Anyways, all that stuff's fine. I replaced some of my fans because that mistake that I mentioned before was something I had done, and my fans were on the brink of death, like making loud noises, barely spinning, a few of them. So I replaced those. I had some spare fans on hand. Granted, they're a lot louder, and the airflow is maybe not as good, but they still work better. And I can tune the loudness of it with some fan speeds to CPU, GPU volume or temperature settings. So and looking at my temps, they look fine. So I'm not too worried about it. But so I put it back together. My liquid cooler doesn't work. Okay, that's weird. So make sure it's plugged into the right PWM port on the motherboard, and in the small amount of time you have to actually access the BIOS before the CPU overheats. Check the like speeds for the fan speed or pump speed or whatever it's listed as, and make sure that it's set to 100, that it's actually trying to pump. And it sounded like it was pumping. It sounded like there was liquid flowing, but maybe I was hearing something else because it just kept overheating. And I tried replacing the thermal paste. I tried everything. It just wouldn't stop. So okay, fine, we'll just do the easy thing. We'll just replace the cooler. And granted, if I could fix something like that, I would, but it's probably going to be a lot more effort to take it apart, fix it, and then buy the part, and then it's just a lot more hassle. So just buy another AIO, because that's just all it is. It's an AIO. It's a closed loop, so who cares? So I go ahead and do that, and get that in a couple days. Thankfully, I was able to get 2-day shipping on it. Throw it into the PC, set everything up, and it's working beautifully. Like, it's like the temps are fine and stuff like that. Noticed, so I can show you here actually too. Um, Wait, where do I show it? I think it's on here. Yeah, okay. So when I looked at this new cooler that I got, it can show all sorts of things here, right? Um, so when I go to remember where exactly is it in lighting LCD display? Yeah, so here, okay. So actually no, it wasn't even here. It was on the fan speeds that I saw it. Never mind. Okay. Maybe it shows here too. No, it doesn't. Okay. This is the cool new cooler that I got. It shows that display, so that's cool. I also use the NZXT app to show my temps on my third monitor, but that's fine. No, it's on here though. This is the one I was talking about. So, I use IQ for controlling my fans because I've got the Commander Pro, because I had the full, like, the whole case was like those addressable RGB fans. So it made sense to have this, and then it had the RGB hub as well next to it, which is a lot of like hardware just to get your fans to work. And they have a new system in place now that's all just like daisy chain plug into one box, and it's so much better. Eventually, probably that's my next step, is to get those fans. But since my old ones are dead and now I've replaced them, basically this thing just controls my fans. But just to show you, so I've got my like quietest one set up, right? And then you have two temperatures here, right? You've got and these for the NVIDIA ones, this is my graphics card. So the graphics card temperature 1 I noticed a lot lower than graphics card temperature 2. So I don't know where exactly these are, and maybe I can look that up, or if someone sees this and wants to call me a dumb fuck and call me out and tell me exactly what it is, then that would be great. But until I know that information, basically, long and short of it is, I had no idea what that was. But I just made sure it was detected off the hotter temperature, and it noticed that one temperature was really high, and I had no idea why. The other one was really like about 20 degrees lower, like at all times. It was crazy. Um, and I think my last stream that I did, so I ended the stream because I had to go pick up my wife from work, I think is what it was. And I noticed it, like, I was like, why does my room smell like cigarette smoke? And granted, okay, so I'm like, my office is in a basement, but I have like a window to the outside, like right next to the neighbor's house. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know my neighbors that well, but that's that neighbor I do know is an elderly lady, and I know plenty of old ladies who have a smoking habit just because it was more acceptable, kind of in that generation. It was it was a bigger thing. So maybe she's smoking. Who knows? Age has no bearing on whether or not it was a person who was smoking. It's just in my head that made the most sense. I guess it sounds like a reasonable explanation. Old lady could be smoking. Pretty likely. Um, in my head at least. So, anyways, all that to say, it smelled like cigarette smoke, and then I began to think though, like, but like it's pretty cold. It's winter. It'd be weird for her to go outside and smoke, and this is the first time I've smelled it, and I'm like, surely not. Okay, maybe my PC got hot, and maybe there's like some dust on like a hot part that's smelling of burning or something like that. So I took a sniff over by my PC. Oh, yeah, wow. Okay, they're definitely way stronger right next to my PC. So okay, so my PC is smelling like smoke. Which is not a good sign. So I turned it off. I like right away just turned off my PC. I didn't want to risk having anything going on. Shut off the power supply, unplugged it, went to pick up my wife up from work. God forbid something catches fire while I'm trying to go, pick her up from work. So, um, I got home and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna take this apart. I'm gonna make sure it's cleaned out, make sure the fans are hooked up properly. That was my first thought. Was like, okay, maybe the airflow is just really bad and like some dust was burning or something, and that's why it's getting hot. So I'm gonna make sure my fans are oriented correctly. Maybe I had like two sides that were pushing in and like one exhaust or something, and the air pressure was really goofy. That was my first immediately thought. So I went and looked at that, and this camera's really messing with me every time I look at it. So I'm going to try and fix this. So bear with me a second, but I'm going to keep talking while I do that. So, the, it bothered me a little bit. Where was I going with that? Honestly, I don't even remember. Okay. Long story short, though, right? Let's just get down to the nitty gritty on what exactly happened here. So I go to take apart the computer, and as I'm tearing it down, so the first thing I really have to, I mean, obviously the panels off and stuff like that, but once you get into the PC, the first thing I have to do is take out the graphics card, right? Because it's massive, it covers everything, and it's just in the way. So that's the first thing I do, and I'm going to unplug those power connectors that are in there. It's a two 8-pin connectors, I believe, and because it's 2080 Super, that makes sense. Yeah. So I get in there and it's like, okay, I got one side out, and then the other one's like stuck. Well, that's weird. Like maybe the clip's just not gonna know. The clip's completely like detached because it's got a little clip that holds it in place. Um, it was just really strange that it wasn't working at all. So I mess around with it, and and I'm trying to like get it to come off, and it just won't. So as much as I hate doing this, right? Like this is like the big like anxiety moment for me because I'm like, okay, this is a fucking expensive card. Like this I can't break this. But we gotta get it fixed, right? Oh my god, that looks so much better. My gain was just a little high. Okay. Um, so I get some pliers, and I'm like, okay, I just have to be really careful. Just make sure, like if we're gonna wiggle, try not to wiggle it too much, but like if we have to, we have to. We're just gonna have to be really, really freaking careful with it. Finally, I get it to come off, and it wasn't easy. Like the whole time, it was fighting me. So, but finally, it gets off, and it's like melted, right? Like, I don't know if anyone saw, if any of you saw the 40 series when they first came out, and they have these new pin connector like adapters that have like 3 like 8-pin connectors, or 4, maybe even 4. I don't remember. It's a lot. A lot of juice goes into those. But they're having issues where they would do that would happen. Those connectors, they like bent a little bit or something like that, and they wouldn't connect properly. And because you're trying to pump so much power through, well, not an optimal connection, it's kind of thinner than it should be, and it like will overheat really quickly. And that's kind of what it looked like happened. But like the thing is, those connectors were in nice and firm, and this is so strange. Like I'm really hope that my graphics card's not fucked. And like the port looked okay. It was mostly the cable connector that was just messed up to high hell, but the actual port looked fine, save for like the pin was blackened a little bit, and I just that figured the plastic melting and stuff like that. So I take all the cables for the power supply out and pull out the power supply, and it's a modular power supply, so I can pull out the other side as well by the PSU, and that connector was like just as burnt in there, if not, it was actually worse. I pull it out, and that plastics around 2 of the pins actually were so melted in and brittle that they just snapped, and it was just pins at that point. Actually, I don't know how I still have it, so I don't know how well you can see this here. Let's switch to this one right here. Try to get this in front of my face because my green screen is gonna mess it up. So this is where it went into the PSU, right? So don't mind these. These are just it's an 8-pin connector. But it goes to a 6-pin. So don't mind that. But like you can see the blackened ones, right? Like that pulled out of my GPU, right? And then this is the one that was in the power supply, and you can see that like right here it's completely exposed pins like this and this. This one it's still got a little bit of plastic on it, but it's messed up, man. Like it's bad. So I'm like, okay, well the power supply's toast now. So so the last granted I have a spare PC, so I've been playing games. I just didn't feel comfortable streaming on it because I've been having issues with that GPU, even in the new PC. Not really new, but like the spare PC I had, it has an Core i9 10900K, so it's a good processor. But I needed to use my RAM sticks because the ones that are in there are 32 gig 2666, not optimal. And I have 32 gig 3600, so that's much better. So I'm using my RAM sticks in there, and then it has 2070 Super, so I put my 2080 Super in there. Mainly, I just wanted to see if 2080 Super would work, and I was having issues with it crashing, just constant crashing, and I was like out of my mind as to what could be causing this. And I found out it was because it was mostly when I was trying to open Opera GX, which is the browser I use, and Discord at the same time. I found out Discord hardware acceleration was on, and hardware acceleration was on Opera GX. So I don't know if there's a driver thing causing this issue, but I turned those off, right? As like just like okay, maybe my GPU just is fucked somehow, and maybe this is hurting it. And so I wanted to lighten the load on it. Turn those off. Haven't had it crash since. Haven't had it just randomly close apps on me since then. So thank God. I think that's that sorted. So hopefully streaming and doing games on the side on at the same time is gonna be okay. But finally, I got my new power supply in. I got that back in my original PC. Got my parts moved back over to my main PC. So hopefully everything is ship shape. We're doing a stream here and figuring that out basically. But okay, so that was a lot long-winded. That was about 15 minutes of me rambling about my issues. I wanted to go over, as you can see by the title, kind of my warm-up routine, sort of. And you know what? If I'm being totally honest, like, so this is a FPS oriented sort of warm-up routine because that's where I feel like I need the warm-ups the most. When it comes to like Smash, or like League of Legends or StarCraft 2, which is like a pretty rare title for me to even get into anymore, but I used to be really big on it. I feel like those games are a lot less mechanically intensive, at least for me. They come a lot easier. Maybe not so much Smash, but this warm-up routine is different than what I would do for Smash. So, but this will work for most other things as well as FPS. and I'll show you why here. So first thing I usually do is I start off an Osu. Why? Because your pointer control on your keyboard mouse is really important. Well, most of your mouse, obviously. Your mouse control is very, very important. It's not going to translate directly to being better at aiming at FPS, but it's going to give you more mouse control, mainly, and more mouse discipline, which is really, really important. It's just another part of it. Oh, that's funny. I just had someone so okay, if you haven't heard, Overwatch is doing a new experimental mode, but they're basically just making quick play the experimental mode. He goes, "Hey guys, we decided experimental is a bitch ass move, so we're forcing us on everyone." Yeah, that's basically kind of what they're doing. So, okay. The background. Oh, nice. Yes, that's poggers. Okay. All right. So first things first, though, I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into some Osu. So we're just gonna do our warm-up routine live. So I don't have a particular. Oh, actually, we should probably do this. Sorry. Game audio. Hopefully, this doesn't get me like in trouble with YouTube, because there's some things with Osu, right? Like obviously, just used in other musics and stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna try and not make the audio too loud here. I usually play with it pretty loud. I feel like it just helps my performance in the game. But the important thing here, like I said, is just gonna be kind of mouse discipline. So we've got a lot of things we can do, and this is probably gonna be very interesting to watch. So I'll try and make this segment pretty quick. Okay, so here's a good one, right? So I like to start off like pushing myself. Sometimes if I'm feeling really tired, I'll do something like oh, what's a good one? Something that's like a little easier for me to follow. This would be a good example right here. Actually, I haven't beat this one. You know what? We're gonna do this one. Me and you. So this one should be pretty easy for me to follow, but it's gonna be kind of a challenge too. Something to get me started, right? And to be clear, I am using keyboard mouse. I know it's pretty popular for people to use a like drawing tablet with this. I use keyboard mouse, right? Because it's mouse discipline that you want. Oh, I messed that up. Dropped inputs happens, but the important thing is that you're just constantly feeling like you're getting better. You will not start off good enough to do a map like this. I promise you it. Yeah, okay, that was messed up. Okay, so that's a tough one. So that one is fast HP drain and hard to get it back up once you lose it. So stuff like that, it happens. The other thing, you want to be really careful too with Osu. If you're pushing yourself too hard, you're gonna get really bad strain on your wrists, just from moving so much, and then even your hands just hitting the buttons with the other hand on the keyboard. That can lead to a lot of stress if you're pushing yourself too hard. So you want to find that middle ground. It's okay to play Osu in and of itself and push yourself really hard if that's all you're gonna play, and then obviously, you know, do a little bit of warm-up maps for it and then get into the heavy stuff. But if you're just doing this as a warm-up for your daily routine, which is kind of what I treat it as, do something a little bit lighter. I don't remember. This map sounds so good, and I don't know why I haven't beat it yet. I do this all the time where I'm like, oh man, I love this song. Why haven't I beat this map? And I'll even remember, like, I play a ton of this map. How have I not beat it? We're about to find out. This one starts off slow, and obviously it picks up. This is the thing, you'll get a lot of these maps try to trip you up. It's right after this that it's gonna start picking up. That was probably a good reason why I haven't beat it. Alright, that's pretty good so far. Yeah, there's definitely a big hard part there. If it comes up something like that again, I think that's probably where I'll fail. I have a feeling it will. It's gonna come up here. Skin on my teeth. Yeah, okay. Yeah, skin on my teeth and then in recovery. Yep, rough. That makes sense. I didn't feel like I was pushing myself. It's literally just like one part that's like extremely difficult. Sometimes they do that. Ooh, okay, here's a perfect example of a good warm-up map. So this is not a stressful map for me. I almost have this thing memorized. Oh man, yeah. So not by no means like should you expect to start off like nearly that good. This took years of playing this game to even get remotely this good, and I'm still god awful. So understand that. Also, I beat my record a little bit, so that's cool. It was a C before. Ooh, I just recently rediscovered this map. This was one I started off playing, and I could barely play hard, and I still struggled. So yeah, when you start off, 2 to 3 stars is where you're gonna probably start. Maybe even lower. I can't play those anymore because they're too slow. As you start to speed up in this game and learn how to read it, it gets harder to slow down. So for me, the 5 to 6 star range is kind of comfortable. If I'm pushing myself, I go for a 7 or 8 star map, but I've only beat like 1 7-star map. Maybe 1 8-star, I honestly don't remember. I could probably check. It'll take a while though, and I want to play this map. So this is going to be a really fun. This is always a throwback. It's just nostalgic. Mostly just the song's nostalgic. Beep, 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 boop. Oh, good. Such a fun one. It's so fun. The hoo-ha! I love that. Yeah, I didn't beat a record, but that's okay. You don't have to play every time to beat the record. I probably could replay this and beat it, but I don't feel like that. Okay. I always delete. Oh man. Oh, I didn't mean to delete the whole thing. Oh well. I meant to just delete the Apple mode, but it's fine. I always delete the ones that are non-Osu, because I feel like those don't help my pointer control that much. This is a good example of one that would be really pushing myself. It's a very high star map. Let's try that again. I can get that section. I just wasn't paying much attention. Okay, focus. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to follow with sliders like that. But that felt good. That's the problem I have with these maps. It's like, God, I am so unable to do them, but they feel so good. The best example of that is probably Trigger. Trigger is such a satisfying map to hit things on, but holy cow, it is the hardest map I think I've ever played. As you see, I have a D on here because I played it with no fail mod on. Not even the hard part yet. I already have a D. It's a hard map. Oh man, see, I was about to get to the triplets, and then it goes to rapid sliders. Crazy, crazy map, but you can tell already how hard that is, and it's not even at the hard part yet. Like, that's kind of just like the easy part. This, okay, technically this map is a lot harder, to be honest, but it doesn't feel as cool to me as that one did. This one just feels like rapid. This one's just like an accomplishment. Okay, I'm gonna stop playing that because I'm just gonna be missing a ton of. Okay, so what are the important things when it comes to Osu maps? How do you tell which ones to play? Here's a great tip. Okay, so first things first, you don't want to fatigue yourself. So there's maps that are called stamina maps, and they're just really long beat maps, and you're gonna strain yourself playing them, at least for extended period of time. So always check the length right up here in the top right. So you've got this one's 4 minutes and 8 seconds, pretty lengthy. This would be what I consider a sort of a stamina map. BPM, the higher, honestly, it's kind of a mixed bag, because sometimes you'll have a high BPM, but like there won't be a lot of notes in it, and it won't be a long song. So take the BPM with a grain of salt, but higher typically is going to be a lot faster paced. In an objects tell you how many notes or spinners or sliders stuff there is. So that'll also tell you. So usually like length to objects, that'll tell you like how fast paced BPM can help you tell you as well. The biggest thing probably to pay attention to over just the star rating, obviously star rating is a great indicator to round everything up, but if you want to improve reaction time especially, look at the AR. So AR is the approach time, so it's how fast the circles are going to close in on the note that you'll have to hit it, and then it'll move on to the next. So basically you have less time to react to the note. AR9 and AR10 are considered like the two like faster, like golden zone, like hyper fast sort of like what you want to achieve. And honestly to me feels the greatest right around that AR9 AR10 section. So AR10 is considered hard, AR9 is considered that golden standard. AR8 is okay, 7's okay-ish, but it kind of gets slow around there for me. Okay, so let's look at this one, for example. Okay, so AR 9.3, and I would consider this a pretty easy one. I've gotten an S on this. It's not going to show because it wasn't online when I did it. This is an AR 7 map. So this is what an AR 7.5 looks like. I'll show you this one. Much slower than these others, right? And I can focus a lot less on this too and just kind of talk a little bit. I'll probably miss time and miss a bunch of notes doing that, but I can pass doing this. Now this one's got a big long stream. So that stream is, I'll show you when we get there. I'll probably have to shut up and talk about it, but it's a big long line of notes that are like back to back, and you'll just have to rapidly press them. I don't find that's necessarily good for anything other than getting button press speed down. So if you struggle at pressing buttons quickly, that could help you. And this is a stream. And I failed it because I didn't shut up. But yeah, that's a stream. It takes some focus to get the timing right on those, but once you kind of understand that you're just pushing buttons really fast and moving your cursor, that can maybe help with tracking, but it's just not really what I would say is the best way to do it. Let's look at, okay, this one's a tough one. So this one, your HP 7, HP is another one. So it's like HP, can tell you like how fast you'll die. This one, I say you die really quick. If you miss a few notes, you just die. Kind of have to play it like perfect. And it's hard to get the points back on some of these too.
That was tough. I almost died there. And you can see how slow I'm getting that health back compared to, like, when I miss notes. And I'm perfect hitting all of these notes. Oh gosh, okay, so that's a tough one. Anyways, that shows you like the health stuff at least. That's kind of a tough map to pass, honestly. That was straining me a little bit, and right now, like, my wrists are starting to feel fatigued. So I'm probably gonna do one more like easy one that I think is really great. It's probably gonna be one of these Radwimp ones because I'm really good at the Radwimps for whatever reason. They just feel natural to me, and they're not super fatiguing. So it'll be a nice little wrap up on this like short warm up. And like I said, this is just a warm up. This isn't like, I'm not really just like trying to like play a ton of this game. I'm just trying to get myself warmed up. I'm gonna try that again. I shouldn't have missed that. Sometimes I feel stupid if I miss something like that, and I'll just restart like real quick if it's in the first like few notes. No time investment lost really on that. Okay, yeah. See, nice. It wasn't like too terribly long, but it was like a good range. I missed one. Whoops. And it's just a comfort map, right? It's a comfort map, but it's not like it's not mechanically intensive. Like those jumps are not, the jumps and timings are not easy on that. So the important ones are another one that's important too is going to be the jumps. The things that make you flick across the screen kind of are going to be really good at like getting you to just control your mouse movement a little bit there. So, Okay, so let's jump into the more FPS section of it. Now, there's a lot of really good resources out there for like aim training and stuff like that. So there's like the actual like aim labs and stuff like that. All really great stuff. And if you guys use that, obviously nothing wrong with that at all. Now, personally for me, I'm just focusing more so for Overwatch because that's kind of just what I play. So I prefer to use the in-game resources for that when it comes to like honing my actual aim, because Overwatch is kind of its own beast when it comes to the FPS. It's kind of hard to emulate that even in aim labs. I feel like aim labs would be another one of those tools where it's more FPS based oriented. It will give you really good control of your mouse movements, but I don't think it's perfect. So I think Overwatch has a very lackluster sort of setup when it comes to their training stuff, obviously. But how do you get around that, right? So you kind of just got to use what you've got. There's a lot of good tools for the whatchamacallits workshops, but those are also still fairly limited. And where is I'm trying to switch my game audio source here. There it is. Okay. It doesn't always like to update in the quick selector. Sometimes I actually go to properties and get it. So this is what I was talking about earlier, by the way. They've got the quicker play. So it's funny, actually. I told someone like quicker play is a thing without actually having seen that term before. That's funny. All right. So first things first. I don't know if I'll have all my custom games saved on here because I think it's on my other account. It does not look like I do, but I know the presets that I'd be looking for. So first things first. If you just want to like warm up quickly, a good thing to do is literally just go to training practice range, because there's a lot of good tools in here now. They've done a lot of work to it. It's not like it was in like day one Overwatch. So let's just go Widowmaker and so first things first, I'm gonna put my game in full screen because I don't think it is. I can almost tell. Yep. Okay, I can always tell when it's not. You really do lose a lot of frames when you're not in full screen. So, and because I'm streaming too, I also feel like I'm kind of dipped a little bit. I'm going to double check a few things here. It's always important to make sure your FPS, this is why it's important to warm up too. In-game res is at 70 or 67, which is weird that it locks at 67 instead of 100%, but it's whatever. Yeah, so this all looks pretty good. Yep, these all look pretty good. And you want to copy my settings, by the way, here they are. So feel free to pause or whatever and screenshot those and keep those. So yeah, okay. So we should be good here. So literally, you're just gonna practice hitting bots to start off. Just kind of get like a good feel for it, right? Get your flick ranges in. So obviously that was a terrible shot. So Widowmaker's fun because you can do some like trick shots with it and then miss wildly like that. Like that was awful. Usually I put a lot more focus into this while I'm doing this. Obviously talking and streaming and managing that stuff makes it a little harder. This is why I do a lot of my warm-ups like beforehand. God, I hate that they messed with Widowmaker's fall off range. I feel like that should like really just kill. Okay. Moving targets are going to be really good too to practice like on some of these guys right here. So something for Widowmaker in particular. Now, I mean, other characters this might vary on. For Widowmaker in particular, something I try to do, right? It's nice to have Tracer's a good one to use up here because that's a small hitbox. If you're going to practice your flick shots, you don't want to. So it's really easy, right, to flick when you're like looking at a target. And you have so much time to just sit here and like look at this tiny not moving target. Now if you want to put a little bit more reaction time into it, right, you're gonna want to blind come up this corner here and then like make sure you hit it. So try not to aim directly where the target is. You're gonna want to basically intentionally force yourself. So like come around here like this, like that. So that's how you sort of put a little bit more, and you can do it on these bots too. The only problem I have with these bots is that their hitboxes are a lot bigger, so it's a lot harder to miss these, right? But it can still be good to practice like your flicks. Like my right-handed flicks right here, like toward the right flicks are awful. Usually I rely on my left-handed flicks. Kind of bypass that a little bit if you flick to the right and then like course correct left. So if you just that a little bit. that's a kind of a good way to sort of do it, but I wouldn't find that super reliable, and honestly, it just takes longer. You're better off just practicing your right directional flicks if you're like me at all. The other thing you can do too here, we'll go ahead and go long range, and then make sure you're on training bots, player strafe. I like to do unlimited ammo. It just makes it easier not to worry about reloading. You can disable time and score too if you just want to kind of sit here and do this for a few minutes and not worry about score. This is good because you get some actual moving targets, and again, these have much bigger head hit boxes, so it's actually much easier to hit these. But what you kind of want to do for these guys is practice hitting the ones that jump like that. You want to be trying to hit headshots, obviously.
Double kill. Double kill. Triple kill. My web grows heavy. Double kill. Double kill. Triple kill. Quadruple kill. Quintuple kill.
It's a wonderful day today.
And you can practice different aim types doing this too. So, this isn't meant to be like an aiming guide or anything, but just a few tips off the top of my head. It's just not going to be structured in any good way whatsoever. I'd have to script this out for it to be an actual guide. Well, let's just give you like a little bit of a clue here on like some different aiming types. So you've got the flick type aim, right, where you're just like hard flicking your target, and this is really inconsistent, but you can also get really good at it. I'm not super good at this, to be honest. Like, you can see how many like shots I'll miss on it before I actually hit the, like, even just a standing still target. It's just really inconsistent. So that's flicking. You've got tracking, where you try to keep your crosshair on the target as best as possible, right? So this would be good for like Soldier 76, Bastion, that sort of character. Anyone who has like extended time of like hitting a target while shooting. Or like a constant stream of damage, like a what's the term I'm looking for? Like a steady damage, not burst damage, more of a sustained damage. That's where your tracking is gonna be really handy. I find that it helps a little bit if you can do it as well with snipers. You can track just a little bit and then like do that last second flick right before you're gonna shoot. That can help a little bit. Now the part that gets hard is when someone's AD strafing like this, or God forbid they're doing the fucking crouch spam. Like God, I hate that so much. Sojourn's probably the worst offender, but this AD strafe can really mess with you because Overwatch characters, like, it doesn't look like much in first person, right? But if you were to look at this character in third person, like, when they AD strafe, they shift their whole body left and right. So it's like, animation wise, the target's very difficult to actually hit because of that. Now the way that I prefer to aim is like a hybrid, right? Especially for snipers, is like you want to sort of track and then flick, right? So you get close and then you just kind of flick for that last bit. And there's a few reasons why I like to do it that way. One, because you need that little bit of flick, because if you're focusing too much on like tracking the target perfectly, when they switch directions randomly, it's gonna make it like really jarring for you to like try and hit them. So you gotta get used to being able to flick. So you have to. That's gonna be a reaction time thing more than anything. The other reason too is because the way the human eye is programmed, right? So it's just the way it works, like biologically speaking. And granted, I'm not a biology major, or I don't really know much about biology at all. It's just something that I picked up on. You know, this is something I was taught like high school, and like it's been like reiterated to me multiple times. So the human eye is not designed really to see things rapidly. So like if you take one finger over here and one finger over here, or here, let's do this better on camera here. So okay, so you have one finger on the side, right? And you look at one finger and then rapidly move your eye to the other finger and just do that back and forth. It's easy, probably easier for far away. So if you rapidly move your eye right from one point to the other, you actually do not see anything while your eye moves from one point to the other point. You just don't. You don't see anything. You're completely blind. And your brain is really good at filling that blank in after the fact. And it all happens so quickly, like, you obviously would never notice that it's happening, but it's just the way it works. This is all just milliseconds that this is all happening. So your eye starts here, right? Moves over to here, can't see anything, but stops at the other finger, right? You see the other finger, and then your brain fills in the gap from context. So while your brain does a really, really good job at that, it's not perfect. And the same concept applies when you're looking around at targets on the screen. Your brain can fill in the context, but when you have characters that move as fast as they do in Overwatch, when they start 80 strafing and stuff like that, and you're going to like flick at things, if you're flicking too hard, you are not going to be able to see their animations for how they're moving. You're gonna miss a lot of shots because of it. So the best thing to do when you're going up to a target like this is either flick and then slow, which is gonna give you some time to sort of that. Or the thing that I like to do, which is a little bit easier probably, and you can see your surroundings a little bit better when you do it, it's a little less risky, is literally just like slowly move up to them and then flick for that last bit. I find that to be the most consistent way to do it. It also gives you a chance to like wait for them to stop moving too, because sometimes characters will change course, they'll move straight towards you for like a split second, and it makes it a little bit easier. So stuff like that. That's kind of the general like best practice things that you can do in practice range. And again, that's really limited. Now, there's a couple other tools here, and I'm just going to look these codes up because they're not that hard to find. So if you just look up some workshop codes, you can. The first one's going to be called Training Room 2.0 or 2.1. I think there's a 2.1. And then just like Overwatch 2 Workshop. And there's going to be a couple of YouTube links here. I see there's actually a Practice Room 3.0. I haven't tried it, granted, but we can definitely give it a shot. So, now some of these, this says it took place 2 years ago, which is way before they did all the changes. So whether or not this is updated to match the like new training mode stuff, so there might be some things that are broken, and there's a lot of hero like reworks and stuff that have come out since then too. So some things might not work correctly, but there's a few things in here I just want to show you. It's really super nice tool actually. All you have to do is copy that code, you import it, okay, and then you can also save preset. Make sure you hit create new, and then just type in workshop, or sorry, not workshop, training practice range. That's what it is. Practice range 3.0. Okay, hit save, and then let's go ahead and start. Now, it's like I said, some things are just gonna be broken. That's just how it is when you're using older codes. And then it's really sad some of these things don't get updated. Like you can already see like we're missing some. So if you want to change those, you most certainly can, right? So you can go back to the lobby. We can go to heroes, and we can go to hero roster. And we hit all, and boom. Here, select must. Well, that's interesting. Huh. It just says that some of these are disabled. Which these are all just these are all just the like DLC one. Weird, and they're not showing up in here weirdly enough too. It says he's on. Why does it say he's disabled? Huh. Team. Okay, let's discard that for a second. Oh, is there nothing on workshops? Then why are they disabled? That's just strange. I wonder if this is just a broken code, which is entirely possible considering it's not letting me out of this screw. This is very buggy. Okay. Invalid options. Okay, so this, I think this is just a really broken code. Let's find another code here. Because there's definitely codes that work. Okay, this is a different one, so let's try this. This one at least has no disabled, hard. Let's leave this and then come back and then try creating it. Yeah, there's just a chance some of these just straight up don't work. Okay, this one seems like it's fine. I think it just broke. I think the other one just literally broke my game for a second. That's weird. Okay, let's try pract. Or actually, wait. We can probably just save over this one because that one's broken. Let's do that. Okay, let's give this one a try. This one says that all the other heroes are unlocked, so... Yeah, okay, so now we have everyone on here. Okay. So... Ooh, this is interesting. Okay, so this is new. So press F to interact. Damage number's on. I'm not really sure what that did. What do these do? Ah, that's very curious. Okay. What did these do? Oh my goodness. Okay. So this is very new. This is really cool. So you've got your... This is sort of like Aim Labs stuff. So that's really cool. Okay. The thing, you could always change these, right? What's strange to me, they used to have a tracer running around here, so it's interesting that that's not there. This is definitely like new for me. Okay, jump pad, that makes sense. So there's also, well, hold on, wait, is there a thing to activate it maybe? I feel like there was a thing to activate the tracer. I don't see it. There's also a Widowmaker thing here that's not there anymore. This. Oh. Oh, that's interesting. You press F on that, it pulls you up. That's cool. Is there a Lucio thing over here at least? No, there's not. So, the one thing I did really like about the Workshop 2.0... Okay, so this... Oh, interesting. Okay, so they add actual heroes here. Okay, my gun's not working for some reason. Hold on. I think I have to disable this. Okay, there we go. Interesting. Yeah, so this is what I like. So this is the main one, is like you've got the Pharah you can practice on. You've got the Sojourn. Junkrat. This is going to give you a little more accurate hitbox. Obviously, I suck at hitting all of these targets. This is actually a really good practice. And the cool thing, too, is that those damage numbers, those are really nice and convenient. It looks like they only work on the heroes. Ooh, they switched to random heroes. Interesting. Now, there used to be a thing where you could put like a pharmacy up here, like a Mercy with them as well.
Pitiful.
Yeah, so that's really cool. I actually super like this. I'm probably going to have to save this code. Because it's a little bit simpler. There used to be a lot of other tools, though, I will say. We'll see if they're still there, but I'm not really seeing them. One tool that was here before You'd have a Genji and a Mei, and the Mei would ice block and the Genji would deflect, and you could practice like your headshot timing on them. And then there was also one with over here it was Reaper would go between these two pillars, and you could kind of practice hitting that. So that was always really cool to be able to do. Let's see if the other ones are up here. I doubt they are. Oh, stop. I think maybe these are probably broken. Oh. Okay, that's cool. So a little popcorn arena. This is a really common like flick training. Yeah, that's a cool one. Okay, so this must work surely then. Right? Unless I can only have these active. It gets really weird when you have some of these active because it like puts them like out there, you know? Okay, that might be broken. Like I said, some of these might not work. So one of the things that was here, there used to be a Reinhardt that would shatter and you could try timing. Like I used to use it for like Suzu. Used to be a Roadhog here you could check your DPS with. Doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Anything up here? I don't see anything up here. I wonder if this does anything. What was... It gets small. Oh. Interesting. Okay. That's pretty cool. I like that. Okay, pressing F on this one doesn't seem to do anything. Let's put it on Tracer. Yeah, I missed the Tracer here because there was a Tracer that'd run around and blink. And then there was a Lucio that would like wall right around in circles on there. And he like it was crazy hard to hit him all the time too. So yeah, this is a really, really cool training ground. There's clearly a lot of different ones. Oh, one shot. Okay. So yeah, there's a lot of cool things on here, it looks like. So kind of like experiment with some of those tools, right? There's a lot of different things that you can check out for that. And then the other one, we'll just leave this game here. The other one is going to be called Try Hard FFA. That's a good one for like trying to play against actual people. So someone says it's Overwatch 2 updated. We'll try copy pasting it. Some of these, you know, you can tweak these how you like because a lot of the times they'll restrict certain heroes. And they will like change some of the restrict some of the abilities and stuff like that. So you'll have to experiment a little bit with those. Let's go ahead and save this preset. Call it Tryhard FFA. So you'll want to open these up to public and then you'll like train with actual people. Sometimes you can actually find them if you just go to the workshop and search them. You'll find lobbies that are already up. In my experience, I usually, if I do find them, like it's 50-50 if I find them, and if I do, they're usually really terrible ping, so I'll just set my own up. But it's a really good way to practice some of the heroes against actual people, especially when you're talking like aim and stuff like that. So you can see on this one, it's pretty much just like aiming characters, right? So Ana, Ashe, Bastion, Cassidy, Doomfist. I would prefer to remove Doomfist if I'm being totally honest, but it's whatever. Echo, Genji, I hate Genji so much. Hanzo, Alari, Darker Queen, Kiriko, Lifeweaver, Lucio May, Mercy, Farah, Reaper, Sojourn, Soldier 76, Symmetra, Torbjorn. Symmetra's odd. Torbjorn, Tracer, Widow. Okay. And then if you look like Ashe, for example, Dynamite's disabled for some reason. Most ultimates are disabled. Tracer is a weird one because Tracer has her ultimate. Nope, it's not. Okay, wait, no, it's ultimate ready. Ultimate is enabled. So some of the ults are like enabled, some of them aren't. And I guess it kind of makes sense for Tracer, even though it's really annoying to deal with. It is a skill shot to hit that ultimate. It's really tough. So it's something you're gonna want to like actually practice hitting on people. If you don't want to play against actual people, one thing you can do is I usually put the countdown to like 8 or 9 or something like that. Put them on like, you can do aimbot if you want. If you don't want them to quite be aimbotting, you do ultimate or extreme. Either one works. I've done them with lethal too, and it's fine. Like it's not gonna be as much of a challenge. The main thing that you're getting out of it doing it like this is you're gonna have them shooting back at you, which is gonna give a little bit of pressure. Now, granted, they're not really gonna be that good at hitting you. They probably won't even kill you. You'll definitely have a higher kill rate than most of them if you're playing it properly. But like you can see how long it took them to kill me. So, but it gives that little bit of pressure. It'll help you like learn to perform better under pressure, and it'll tell you, you know, kind of like progress on your like aiming mechanics here. Dude, this is like that's like a Widowmaker's worst nightmare is a Mercy running at them. It's supposed to, I think it was probably the other code. No, it does a little bit. Okay, so you can see when you get kills, it heals you a little bit. A little bit less than the one I used before, which the one I used before was called Yet Another Tryhard FFA. That one seemed like it worked a little bit better to me. This one doesn't seem bad though. Like this one's fine. I don't like Chateau Guillard 2. You don't have to do it on this map. You can do it really on any map you want. Not an accurate depiction of a Lucio whatsoever. Accurate depiction of a bronze Hanzo, or bronze maybe of a Reaper. Oh, that's an interesting line because it's like her house. So yeah, you can do this usually. I try to do it for like a good 15 minutes or so. Hard to just relax sometimes when you're like shooting, because if you're trying really hard to just flick to these targets, it's just not gonna work. Sometimes like that was like a way over flick. Sometimes you have to slow down and actually like aim at your target. You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You just have to like not stress too much about aiming. It helps too. One thing I've noticed too is like you really have to focus on the like on your target. Like looking at your target and focusing on your target is two totally different things. If you're focusing on your target, you're tracking their head and their animations, and it's gonna give you a little bit of an easier time to aim. Now that was just unlucky. It took me too long to aim, and Soldier's time to kill is crazy when he can just aim about your head. So you know. It's like shots like that. It's like you saw me slow down, take my time, line it up, and shoot. Just what you gotta do sometimes. It's nice if you can like land hard flicks, but they're not gonna be consistent most of the time. Unless you've got like an insane amount of mechanical skill, you're just not gonna be that consistent at it. Some people have that mechanical skill, and if you can ride that mechanical skill, you know, do it. But don't neglect everything else, right? Don't neglect positioning. Don't neglect like these basic mechanics, because that's natural skill that will fade, and that will fade very quickly, and you will be lost without it if that's all you rely on to like climb.
It was a pleasure. Bonjour. Do not provoke me. Still untouchable.
Audio is very important too, by the way. I cannot tell you how much of an improvement these headphones were compared to like my wireless one, which I don't remember what my wireless ones were before. I think they're the 733. It likes to put all their numbers on it for some reason. Put on like every product. Surprisingly. Oh, here it is. 733. Yep. Which is let me make sure I can see my camera here. this headset right here. So you may be familiar with them and have seen them before. They're wireless, which is really nice. They said they had 7.1 surround sound, which is horseshit in my opinion. It kind of does, but like it doesn't work very well. There's a lot of things when you get into audio that like you'll learn. There's sound stage and something else I don't really recall. But basically the two things, what they are, you'll hear sound stage and then you'll hear the sound something else and you'll know what I mean. But so sound stage is literally like what it sounds like. So imagine you're standing on a stage and sound stage is how big that is basically. So you're standing right in the middle of the stage. Like, close your eyes and imagine, okay, you're standing on a stage and you hear someone walking to the right hand side of you. Okay, how far away they can sound, that is your sound stage. Okay, and the other one is the basically, okay, so now we'll imagine that sound stage. Imagine someone walking kind of at the edge of the stage and then someone walking at the center of the stage. And then the other sound thing is basically the distance between that person that is farther away from you and closer to you. And like how well those, like how many points of like sound, like closeness you have there. So that's kind of what that other one is. Those are very important. And that is the biggest issue I had with that headset, is it was all sounded very much like like inside my head. Like there was somewhat of a surround sound, but it was all, there was no distance to it. Like I could not tell how far away things were. And not to mention it was mostly horizontal. There was no like really vertical sound whatsoever. That changed with actually getting this headset. And granted, it's wired. The biggest selling point for me was a wireless, and it was surround sound. I thought that was great until I started noticing like I am not I didn't notice it until I started playing with a lot of other people too. And they're like, oh yeah, you didn't hear that? I'm like, I mean, yeah, sure, I heard it, but like, how did you know like where it was, right? I didn't realize I was underperforming because of that. It was so hard to understand that because I'd never really experienced good audio stuff. So get yourself a good wired headset. They're just gonna be better. Not better because they're wired. I should preface that. Do your research into some good headsets. Sennheiser is a fantastic brand. It's reputable, like very highly reputable. Everybody loves Sennheiser. Everyone that I've ever heard talk about Sennheiser loves it. I've used what are they called? Astros before, Astro A40s specifically I have tried, and they're fantastic. The ones with the mixer amp that like comes with its own mixer amp, fantastic. And that's the second thing that comes into it, is the mixer amp. So you want to get not only a headset but a mixer amp. So when you're looking for a new audio, if you're looking for a new audio setup that you want to actually give you a good directional sound with a good sound staging, you're going to keep in mind that there's the two things you're going to be looking for: it's a headset and a DAC amp. And it's crazy. It'll blow you. If you've never heard anything like it before, it's gonna blow you out of the water. Like it's insane. It's insane how much it helps too. And the DAC amp helps a lot too. You can get away with plugging it into your PC. Like I had this headset before I had the DAC amp for like a few months, and I just had it plugged into my PC, and it sounded way better than that wireless headset by a long shot. But it was just really quiet, and I just really didn't like how quiet it was. And it sounded good, but it wasn't like blowing me out of the water or anything. It was better, and I had directional sound, and that made me happy. When I got the DAC amp, it was crazy how much of a difference that made. Like, it blew me away how it transformed this headset into sounding like way better than that, to like, oh my god, this is the best thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, it's crazy. I can't upsell that enough. And the amp obviously fixes all the issues with volume. I run at 50% PC volume pretty much at all times because it actually can get quite loud. And the surround sounds better. Everything's better about it. So, yeah, that's basically all I have though. You can play some unranked games if you want to jump before you jump into comp if you want. That's really up to you, but so yeah, a little bit of a shorter end stream. I guess it's only an hour and 15. Some of my streams are about an hour and 15, but that's where I'm gonna close this off. That's kind of the like warm-up routine and like a little bit of like tips and tricks and things that I've picked up my short time trying to self-improve here. So there may be more videos like this. I can, if you want to get in more in-depth videos when it comes to specific games, if you want, in terms of like settings and best practices and stuff like that. We can get deep dive into hero specifics too. But I think there's already plenty of guides out about those. So if you want to hear those from me and hear my opinion on them, just feel free to like comment and ask and whatever. And I guarantee you, I don't get enough comments to not see every single one. So if you comment it, likely it's going to come out soon. So have a good day, and go ahead and like, subscribe if you know this is your cup of tea, and I'm sure you'll enjoy seeing more of me. But for now, have a good night. See ya.